If you're anything like me, you're always losing things. From my keys, which I left in my bed this morning, to my coffee, this is a smoothie, to my, what's it called? Oh yeah, my script. Here it is. How can people be expected to keep track of their stuff? I mean, I'm reading here that you can take more care of your possessions, which I'm sure applies to other people. This is TechAsia, and we object to any kind of self-improvement. How about we solve this problem with technology?
Usually we can link access management with the word boring and tedious and time-consuming.
Speak for yourself, this is my jam. As an individual, there's a few things you can do to keep track of your things. You can use AirTags or trackers, which are small devices you can attach to your wallets, your dog, your keys, to then track them down with your phone. They also will ring when you're leaving somewhere without them. You can also use spreadsheets with pictures and locations of your stuff to make sure that you haven't sold them off or that you know where they are. I typically spend more time categorizing my things than actually using them, which is the plight of any geek. So that's for one person, but how about if you have 100 or 1,000 people working for you? As the NHS learned the hard way during COVID, spreadsheets have limits to the amount of lines you can add to them. Besides, it's difficult to manage who's able to modify what, and there are some tasks that specialized software is more suited to address. Even a relatively small team like us needs to use special software to track what gear is checked out by whom, when it's coming back, what needs to be sent to maintenance, etc. This actually used to be part of my job in a lighting rental company. We'd take down projectors that weigh up to 70 kilos from a shelf, read out the serial number, and spend whole afternoons with clipboards and small scraps of paper to try and figure out if it's in the other warehouse, if it's on a shoot, if it's in maintenance, etc., etc. So anything that automates that process is probably a huge time saver.
This is Cadence. I'm from HKPC. I developed robots since 2018, so we need to do some checklists to see if the access is still here or it is missing or misplaced. So we think of using robots and the RFID technology to leverage the autonomous capability to help streamline the whole process. The latest robot is Scott, and Scott could do some smart access management. It could enhance occupational safety because traditionally inventory process include working at heights, lifting heavy goods. So by using robots, we could give this potentially dangerous work to the robots.
How does their system work?
In the system, we have 3 parts. The first one is items with RFID tags. So we give a unique code in the RFID tags so we can identify which item it is. The second part is the robot with the RFID scanner antenna. So it can go around autonomously and scan those items. The third part, we have the logging and tracking system. After the task, the robot could export the digital reports for user to review and analyze it. We can also expand its usage in different sectors. In retail, manufacturing, healthcare. I always believe robots are like carriers or platforms that you can build whatever you want on it. You can imagine how robots could help, and you can put the module or you can develop the module by yourself.
Implementing this kind of system is great in theory, but the real world is a bit more tricky. It requires a lot of setup and continuous maintenance. Let's take inspiration from what I know in lighting rental. You'd need to migrate from the old system, which was probably developed in 2004, which you were using for inventory and billing and client management. That's a big commitment, especially since not all inventories are cut and clean. What happens if you have a partial return from a rental? What happens if a client has an issue with a light and needs to swap it out quickly, but the person who knows the system isn't available, etc., etc.?
I believe it is just a start of robots helping or being the co-worker of human beings. I expected there would be much more application later on.
In short, what I'm saying is that keeping track of things is a lot of work for individuals and for companies. But once you have an automated system, wouldn't it be really cool to have little robots taking stock? I mean, isn't it just cute? In the meantime, I'll have to make do with my spreadsheets. If you want to be part of my VLOOKUP function, well, you can subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment about, I don't know, what's the most valuable thing you lost. Till then, take care of your stuff and take care.